Wonderful.
We'll be able to verify based on his play.
Yes. Well, we do have 10 players connected currently, so that is just great. All right. 1-0 lead for Simply TOOBASED. They absolutely crushed Black and Yellow in the first game, and like we just talked about, without you guys really having the heroes on screen. Black and Yellow this time, slightly slow lineup again. Underlord Medusa, Simply TOOBASED. I think they're going to play fast. You got Spirit Breaker, you got Shadow Shaman for pushing towers. And I think their mid OD is less countered. And I say that even though they're playing against Nyx. But there isn't that much stopping a hammer combo here. Telekinesis and Nyx stun. That's pretty much it.
Oh, we might have a rumble in the jungle here, Cinderin. We have the Ignite to start things out. But with that, Simply TOOBASED runs away. They just wanted to make sure that Ignite was actually castable.
That was a good impale.
They could move away. Yep, he impaled. Oh, man. Thank God there's not a lion in this game. Holy jeez. Can we look at the Tier 1 tower real quick, Observer? I'd like to take a little gander at the Tier 1 tower. Okay, I would like to make a proposition that our observers change officially to the hand towers. If you agree with my assessment in chat, make sure to type T-Tours throughout the entire game, regardless of if there's miskills or not, all right? We need the hand tower to be put in immediately. The bounty runes are even, Cinderin. Riveting start.
Am I crazy for saying Shaman's Hex used to be called Voodoo?
Yes, that did not ever happen.
Has it always been called Hex?
Yes.
And so is Lion.
Back when it turned you into a frog in Dota 1. Yes. So they have the same spell, but different cooldowns.
But they have the same name. That's unheard of. I was going to make a reference to Earthspike Impale, because this is the other Lion Hex. But it's actually called Hex.
That's right. Still in beta. No big deal.
We'll get there.
I mean, the only thing they can do is change cooldown. I mean, you don't want to change the cast animation. Like, it needs to be instant. That's the entire purpose of it, right? Into the mid to late game. It's just the different... like, they could name it the animal that it becomes. So, like, for Lion with that cosmetic, it's fish.
You know, part of the reason those spells are the way that they are dates back way back in Dota 1. Do you remember back at a time when... we didn't play all pick, or well, captain's mode as it is now, but where you played what was called league mode. Or was it the one before that?
Sounds familiar.
So you had Radiant versus Dire, and you only had access to the Radiant heroes as Radiant and the Dire heroes as Dire. They were called Sentinel and Scourge back then, right? And the reason some of the heroes were similar was so that those two sides each had that pick. So one side had Shadow Shaman, which was the Sentinel, and the other, the Scourge, had Lion. And I think Sand King and Shaker were on opposite sides. And Sven and Wraith King were on opposite sides.
Wasn't Lion and Nyx both Scourge? So they both had Impale on the same side?
Yeah, but you had a Hex on each side.
Oh, okay. That makes it even. Okay.
And you had Fissure and Burrowstrike. Uh-oh, Rises! He's fine.
He's going to get charged as Cinderin continues to just talk about random spells that aren't in this game anymore. Probably outdates most people watching this stream, in fact.
Trivia question.
Almost lose first blood. T-Tours, almost for real.
Trivia question for you. Who is playing bottom lane in the game right now?
I'm looking at it right now, so that's going to be...
Correct.
Would you like me to say it? I'm looking there now, so that's not much of a trivia question. But we do have an Underlord, a.k.a. Pit Lord, if you want to start talking about Dota 1 again, with Dunhow on the Rubik versus Empyrean's Ogre and Ollie's Wraith King, Skeleton King hybrid.
Yeah, this lane, in theory, is a good lane for Underlord. He's one of the best offlaners against Wraith King. You get a lot of damage with your Atrophy Aura when skeletons die around you. You have the way to push out the wave with Firestorms. You can prevent the push and just getting shoved in. And you're naturally relatively tanky and reduce the melee hero's damage. So, should be easy for Zero. This was also the absolute last pick of the draft. So if your last pick, your offlaner, you should really make it a good lane. Like, you're giving him almost carry priority in a way when you do it like this. And they've definitely picked a good hero for the lane. For the game, however, like we talked about, might be a little bit slow, but we'll see how it works out. I'm very much with Lacoste with or Purge, I think it was, suggesting the potential Atos build. I think that could be very good this game, instead of going flat out all auras. Because the thing is, even if you itemize tanky on this hero, I think you're against one of the strongest counters, actually. You picked it into OD. He has high levels of pure damage, and that's something Underlord can never really fully solve with itemization, except BKB. You know, for a while
we
that's
have
going to work.
A
Temporarily.
shackle into the charge for the top lane. Jubei pops the old spike carapace, though. I mean, what do you think of... I mean, you talked about in this game, but what do you think of Underlord as a hero today in general? Because it's very slow. It doesn't really provide any initiation until you get like an Atos or something. Even that's kind of weak. Or a Blink, potentially, but nobody really does that in the early stages of the game. He feels like you need a position 4 that kind of starts things for you.
Yeah, it's definitely not
mid.
one of my favorite heroes right now, but I do think that's what's really cool about Dota drafting. I think every hero is really good sometimes, and some almost unpicked heroes will sometimes be the very best last pick in the pool. I don't think this was the very best, but I can definitely see some really big pros for the hero this time. And that's the thing about Underlord. You kind of have to pick him very late because certain conditions need to be met for it to be good, right? And those are met, at least to an extent, in this game. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think this hero is stronger when the meta is more about 5-man pushing or, very structured team fights so that he can like control an area. But so far, so good for his farm, at least. Nice impale by Jubei.
Yep. You just emphasize that every time so that I remember that it is, in fact, impale, as it has been for 15, 20 years now. Flea able to TP out to safety. We have to walk back the old-fashioned way. That means Little Nick is going to get a little solo XP here. I don't think they really have much kill potential on him, so Little Nick should be able to get some decent farm in this lane.
Yeah, Nick's Medusa is not a kill lane at all.
Yeah, it's kind of the issue with the draft in general. It just feels very slow, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to lose the game. It definitely provides like a big opportunity for Simply TOOBASED to, like a big window, I guess you could say, to really take advantage of that. More lag, it seems. We should just let them disable their cameras because apparently it lags their computer. You know, Dota players complain more than anybody that I've ever come across, Synderen.
And you're a perfect example of that.
I was waiting for that joke, and yeah, that's exactly my point.
Although I will say, when you play shooters, you are a different person. You are...
What does that mean?
You get so much angrier. It's actually really funny. When we play Dota together and things aren't going well for you, you have like a deep sigh. You're like, oh fuck, man, this game isn't going well for me. And in Counter-Strike or in Valorant, you're literally just like screaming at the top of your lungs about how broken the other player's character is, or how lucky they are, or how that was lag. You know.
That's right.
You should actually
make a dictionary of
excuses for shooters.
One day you'll understand. It is the NA way. Jubei's gonna take a bash from Nick. Flea with the shackle. Looks like he's resigned to his own death, but who's gonna die first is the question. Pops his wand. Flea lives, and Jubei does not.
This could be a double kill.
And he dies shortly after. Yeah, Ryze is completely out of mana. This would be a huge kill for Little Nick. One more right click will be enough, and he gets it. What a start in this lane for Simply TOOBASED. And the tips come out.
Yeah, that is really good. They're now level 6 on Spirit Breaker, minute 6. Medusa close to 6 as well, but this means Nyx is very vulnerable up here, at the very least. Didn't talk too much about this lane. OD against Ember, historically speaking, very OD favored. It's not as bad anymore. I think Ember can hold his ground decently well. But OD should still be pulling ahead, and now Ryoya will finish off that Meteor Hammer. Means that Shaggy needs to be a little bit clever now about using Sleight of Fist. You can't just use it to farm or poke. You need to specifically have it for the hammer. It needs to be facing the right way. Because Activate Fire Remnant, if Ryoya does a really good job at using the hammer, almost frame perfect, since the nerf to Activate Fire Remnant, I think it went from a cast point of 0 to 0.1, if I'm not mistaken, or is that Slight? I think it was Activate Fire Remnant. So you can't instantly use it out of Banish, and that means the combo can. He could just land it here if he had it. He obviously used it on the tower, that's why you see Shaggy go in. Zero is still,
of course, anytime you're playing against a hero that you're exceptionally good with, you'll have some good ideas on how to counter it to a degree, at least. But Shaggy trying to bounce back after the last game, which I don't want to pin it all on him because pretty much nobody played particularly well for Black and Yellow.
I think that's fair.
Kind of dumpstered from the start for the most part.
Yeah.
But definitely not a good performance from Shaggy in particular. As he's going to be going for a Maelstrom as the first item, it looks like.
Well, Nick,
but back to your point about me raging, Synderen. It's because I used to be good at those games, and now I'm not. I physically cannot be. That's why I say one day it'll happen for you in Dota. It's just a much later period of your life. Like when you're 50, you won't be able to do the things you're doing now. You know, you won't be able to click.
Oh,
You see a shackle on the Shaggy, gets off his sleight of fist. That'll break things up.
Radiant's bottom tower.
what are you going to do when you're 50 if you can't use a mouse anymore?
Probably be dead by then, as Zero bot lane is going to get astral by Ryoya. Has the Meteor Hammer channeled. Will be successful in hitting because it's a fat, disgusting pig, aka Pit Lord. Into the hammer they go. Ryoya
That
blows up Zero.
is OD versus Underlord in a nutshell. And it's going to be until he gets BKB. He is going for Atos. I like to see it on the Underlord. I think it's good here. But yeah, OD, you picked it into this. You knew this was a risk you were taking. And this is not going to be the first and only time I think he gets killed by OD in this game. Unless you specifically really have Nyx in good position around the Underlord, he will be exposed to these, easy plays, really. If you get him in a banish, he's dead. The cast point of activating Dark Rift is too long. When you come out of the banish, it's easy to hammer him. And then you need to wait 6 seconds. There is no way you're going to survive that long.
We have
Banish combo.
the Meteor Hammer
Nicely
mid.
done. That was
This
almost
time,
flawless.
Dunhow is going to be taken out, it looks like.
Ryoya's got the
Ryoya
timing
getting
down.
Another kill.
That was borderline frame perfect. I think that's an example of a moment where you couldn't have used Activate Fire Remnant, by the way. It was that good. So he's warming up for sure. Played a great last game as well, you know. Ryoya is one of the most recognizable names in this series from a Pro Dota perspective, if not the most recognizable, and he's taken some time to warm up in the
Meteor
DPC,
Hammer.
but might be getting hot at the right
That
time.
is true. Better late than never.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he shined a lot in the. I mean, he's been kind of inconsistent, but if he gets the heroes that he's really good with, he's been really good in general during the DPC. But this season, it's just felt like an anomaly. So it's good to see him play up to his potentials. Empyrean gonna die in the river here, but it takes 5 hero rotation from
And they
Black
still
and Yellow.
lost the tower already. That is no bueno,
Radiant's middle tower is under
Chief.
No bueno indeed. That's all right. You can keep that one.
All right, let's see if it...
I enjoyed it.
Great timing again. Basically frame perfect again.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Need to keep in mind, Rubik will be closing in on level 6 here, so Dunhow can do a really good job at disrupting the OD. You can banish OD when he starts hammering. You can banish the target that gets hammered out of the first Astral and mitigate basically all of the damage and stun.
Dire's top tower
So that will be a big help, and it's very easy to steal against OD. It's the only spell you can steal aside from Sanity's Eclipse. Obviously, Essence Flux has no active, and Arcane Orb is an orb attack, so you can't steal that. So Rubik has a great time against OD for the majority of the game, and we'll be looking to steal that all the time and get an Netherlands. I have insane cast range on it with Arcane Supremacy.
I mean, we've been talking a lot about simply two-base, but top 2 net worths right now are Black and Yellow.
Yeah,
Ryze
Ryze has got
doing a very good job.
Fat amount of farm in the jungle just now, and...
On the
100
bottom
CS
lane, looks like Flea is going to die.
He's going to live up to his name as long as he can. And... Oh, he tried. This tower's
He
gone.
attempted it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Need a
Tower likely to fall,
3 or
but it's going to
4
be
man
a trade.
rotation to defend this, so they're not going to try. And yeah, like you said, trade. Lil Nick, the classic pushing hero, Spirit Breaker, will take top tower. Minute 11. He's top net worth in his team as Spirit Breaker. That is pretty uncommon. He obviously has a free lane here. They bullied Medusa out, and then she just went jungle and said, haha, I'm still going to get richer than you because we stacked a lot. But yeah, I would say this is a game that Spirit Breaker can dominate with the right items. I think Shadowblade BKB would be really strong here. You want to get on top of the Ember out of Invis or the Nyx before he carapaces. Then you want to pop BKB and just go to town and be a wall for your OD. And your Wraith can go in and do the same. You have Bloodlust as Spirit Breaker. Should not be underestimated how much the attack speed does for your overall damage output. And the move speed also helps. So very, very good. This is an insane Ogre lineup strictly from Bloodlust perspective. All 3 cores are very good with it.
And then you have Shadow Shaman, great base damage. He can right click.
Well, I know you're joking about it, but ironically, Bloodlust is actually good for Shadow Shaman too, because he really needs that little bit of extra move speed. The hero is slow, and this might sound counterintuitive, right? Oh, well, if you're a slow hero, you get less percentage based out of Bloodlust, which is true. But even just like, let's say 11% when it's level 3 or whatever, is 1.5 wind lace. And you know how starved you are for move speed on these heroes, so it can bring you up to par so that you can actually reach...
So what you're saying is Empyrean's going to be out of mana the whole game because he has to multicast, or he has to bloodlust everybody.
He needs mana boots or a soul ring. Then I think he'll have enough mana. Bloodlust isn't that expensive.
Jubei onto the high ground he goes. And he's going to be found out and just walk away. So that's going to break things up.
Top tower is under attack.
Very quiet game for now. Again, black and yellow, not taking too much initiative. They did get the bottom tower. But this time around, also not too explosive from Simply 2 base. They don't mind farming. I guess they're waiting for the timing of Lil Nick to get that Shadow Blade so that they can start making some more moves, maybe smoke with Shadow Shaman and place some Serpent Wards at the top tier 2 tower would be a play.
I mean, you can call this an elimination match for the most part, right?
Yeah, I think that's
In fact,
fair.
it's probably more impact than an elimination, because that's just for one turn. This is for an entire season, potentially.
That's
so
true.
I can understand like the wanting to slow it down a bit, because that seems to be, in elimination games, that seems to be what people typically kind of go towards in terms of like a play style. And Lil Nick in the jungle has his Shadow Blade ready to go. Zero, like you said, is working on the Atos. I think it's coming to him right now. He's going to get charged by a Lil Nick. Another strike's available. He's going to connect, but he's going to get impaled on the other side. But thanks to the Bulldoze, he's out and ready to go. Into the shackle. First Serpents of the game from Flea. Oh, nice double Searing Chains, but I think they're going to be able to walk away with the Underlord kill.
Yep. Big kill. He's the second highest net worth in the black and yellow team. It did cost them the Serpents, but I don't know if they were going to make a tower move or a Roche move in the next 2 minutes anyway. I think they're waiting for the Deso and Wraith King before they want to go for the next objective. So I think that's totally fine for Simply 2 base. Slight, no chains.
And now we have a big smoke
Yeah, this is
from
good.
black and yellow. Underlord does have his ult, and he's going to use it. No, he's just going to TP. Never mind.
Oh,
That was
Ogre's
be some
gonna
cool
break this
shenanigan
one.
play. Yeah, Empyrean tanking the entire smoke gank. That's really good news for Simply 2 base.
Yeah, Ryoya was dead there if Ogre wasn't covering. So
Oh, Ryoya inside the Pit of Malice, but we'll be fine.
he's going for a very different build than Shaggy was last game. Obviously, the conditions are different, but I very much like the BKB here. Oh, he's still
He
going to
stayed
get
around
caught.
a little bit too long, potentially. Gets the Astral off. Jubei, yeah, his Impale is not going to connect. But the Atos into the Impale, into Pit. But you can see the Sanity's Eclipse
Oh, he got
went
the crit
off
off in
as
time.
well.
Ollie.
Ember Spirit is
Shaggy
dead, just
actually
like that. What
died.
a turnaround from Simply 2 base. Nice double Searing Chains. Again, Astral on himself. They're going to buy back onto the Ember Spirit. He's able to get back thanks to that Remnant being up. And the Stone Gaze is applied, and that's going to cost Ryoya his life at the very least. Atos onto Lil Nick with the Pit of Malice. Lots of roots to work with. And that's 2 dead. Still not that bad for Simply 2 base, but at the very least, Black and Yellow gets something out of this engagement.
I think Lil Nick might have actually been able to survive that if he had used both Bulldoze and Wand. I think both were ready on the escape attempt, but might have just decided that he wasn't getting out of there and just saving the sticks for later. Not sure, but that is a big tower. Yeah, it cost Shaggy his buyback. I think that's worth it. That is really important for them to open up the map here and win a little bit of a fight. Kills went the way of Jubei and Dunhow, so the supports getting the primary kill bounties here, as we see. So keep an eye on Ember here. So Ryoya realizes he's in trouble now that he gets Atos, and he just ultis here right away on these two, but Ember is almost getting killed by Spirit Breaker alone. Nice dodge on the stun, but that crit, 557. Pre-Deso, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, and on the live cam, the Serpent Wards were actually used to try to set something. Oh, he was getting ganked, the Shadow Shaman. Ends up dying and kind of wasting that ult of his.
Feeding away some gold.
See if Black and Yellow want... Well, they didn't actually kill any of the Serpent Wards. Oh, 4-staff Ryoya. Gonna be fine. The charge in from Lil Nick. Just trying to create as much havoc as possible.
And he is going BKB. Really like the builds. I'm a big fan of the itemization that we're seeing from both teams this game, really. I think a lot of good decisions. I like Wraith King, OD, and Spirit Breakers builds. I think Medusa going Manta into Dragonlance. Dragonlance is very good here against OD, so I think it's fine that he doesn't go straight Skadi or whatever. I think pit stopping for that is fine. Underlord Atos is nice. We've already seen it pay off. And Ember with the Maelstrom, pretty standard. So I don't know if he should be going Travels next, though, as High Shaggy is queuing here. I'm a little bit worried about their potential to fight once these two BKBs come out. But maybe I'm thinking about what alternative he has that would have a huge impact. I guess that's just a timing that you're weaker in no matter what you buy here. And with that, you stay higher up on the overall farm for the game. Don't have to buy TPs anymore. You get to cut waves better. It's probably fine. Always gonna have to be paranoid about Lil Nick, though. Spirit Breaker with Shadowblade is scary for a lot of the split-pushing heroes, and Ember is no exception.
Oh, look at this.
Yep.
Simply Two-Base are getting Roche for free.
Bloodlusted OD.
Yep, Flea might be the sacrifice, but no. He's going to be able to back up, so Aegis online for Ryoya.
It's a really big part of why OD came back in the meta. It used to be one of the worst cores at killing Roche, and then Arcane Orb just started working on Roche. And all of a sudden, lo and behold.
It used to be amazing on Roche, and then it was bad on Roche. Then it was amazing on Roche, then it was bad on Roche. And now, it's amazing on Roche again.
Wait, when was the last time it was amazing?
Would you believe it? Dota 1, probably. Little Nick gets the Nether Strike off with the charge. Dunhow is done. Hit Malice does get expelled, but it's going to be a shackle right off the bat. Rises with that Stone Gaze, but looks like they're just going to get out of dodge with that Dark Rift.
Yep.
And away they go. I mean, Arcane Orb 100% used to work on Roche. I don't know how long ago it was, though.
Okay. Oh, close to the banish there, Ryoya. But Jubei just barely made it out of there with Vendetta. Compared to other Invis fading skills like Shadow Walk or Clinx's Skeleton Walk, Vendetta has, I believe, 0 fade time, or at least, yeah, 0. So he instantly disappeared. Walked into the hammer.
Oh, he's gonna stun him. Jubei's gonna get a nice impale onto 2. Is that enough time for the rest of his team to actually catch up? Doesn't look like it, but Empyrean will sacrifice himself just to buy enough time for Ryoya to get away. Meanwhile, top lane, oh, Shaggy getting extremely low. Has a couple more remnants to work with, and bottles up. So it looks like he'll be fine unless they get vision for the charge.
He has no TP and very low mana. Even if
There's
they don't kill him...
Pupil's Gift on the ground, by the way. What the hell is that doing there by Lil Nick in the top lane? Oh, he's going to find it.
Oh, hello.
All right. Oh, nice.
Ollie.
Not sure if that was
great
there or not. Ollie.
to go on Jubei.
Oh, my God. 2-shot. Jubei. Goodbye. Rise is now on the run, but he's going to get Nether Struck.
He has no Stone Gaze.
Another Wraith Fire Blast in 3 seconds. No mana to speak of at all. And this is looking like a big kill for Simply Two-Base. Still with the Aegis intact. Now, Dunhow is who they're going to chase. Little Nick. It's a little bit of vision there. Doesn't have much mana, but has the Soul Ring. He's going to pop it now.
Oh, great pit.
But there's the Pit of Malice to buy some space.
Oh, they found him top again, though.
Top lane, uh-oh. Shaggy, so they're finally going to get him. Thought he was going to be fine, and then a minute later he dies.
Shaggy gets caught by the Shaggy.
Yeah, there are a lot of good storylines with this game. I mean, obviously half the team has been, or half of Simply Two-Base have been on Black and Yellow, and probably vice versa. Who can keep track anymore? But that's NA Dota, Cinderin. So a lot of bad blood, a lot of bad intention, and then there's Little Nick, who everybody loves.
There's a lot of bad boys in NA.
Bad, juicy boys. But that's the beauty of Little Nick, because nobody can dislike him, you know?
He may yet become a bad boy. Just wait. NA can taint anyone.
That's what I thought, but it's been years now. And he's still very cuddly, so...
he has many years to go, though.
Hopefully he's bulletproof. I gave him a talking to. I told him back in the day, just don't let NA Dota ruin you. And he hasn't, so I take credit for that. Ollie, stuck inside this Pit of Malice, but we'll be able to walk away. Still has Reincarn anyway.
Smoke out. They want to take advantage of Wraith King's low health here. Black and Yellow might find an opening on Flea. He's looking for Ollie, maybe. Oh, good sentry.
There's the sentry. They're going to get the instant Hex charge to follow, but it's from pretty far away into the Wraith Fire Blast and the right clicks. More than enough for Ollie to grab himself that kill. Rises goes in with that Stone Gaze. They're going to get... Oh, man, the Serpent Wards are actually on top of his teammate, Ollie.
He has phase.
But he does have phase boost in a second. Able to walk out now, and now they're just focusing on the Medusa. Another huge kill for Simply Two-Base, and they're going to follow it up with a kill onto the Underlord. 3 for 1, still with the Aegis for another minute. And Dunhow looks to be an easy 4th pickup, as Simply Two-Base are just on another level today.
It's so strange to see, isn't it? Like, Black and Yellow have been looking so much better all season with the games they've won, with the series they took off EG and everything, and now all of a sudden today, you gotta be on the day, man. And especially if you're Zero, if you're gonna talk the talk, you know, you also gotta do something.
You know, I think that would have been a better quote if you ended it with Chief.
Chief.
Thank you. Somebody cut that up and edit it into a better soundbite, because God knows that one's not getting in as a voice line.
If you want to talk the talk, you gotta Chief.
There you go. That's what we all want to spam in our games.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very high quality. Just like your TI voice line. One of the
And yours.
best-selling voice lines in the game.
Very
Yeah,
good.
mine too.
I'll do a girly giggle next time. I heard that's the meta.
Something like that.
I would buy that.
Oh. OD for Ryoya. Looks like Aghanim Scepter is going to be next. That his BKB is.
Oh, Jubei
online.
walking into a sentry
Flea
again. They have really good coverage here,
and
Flea.
Empyrean. Oh, he had Blink up, but not expecting the
Okay.
Jubei Nix, I suppose.
Well, he must have, because he saw him on a sentry for like 2 seconds. I think he got telekinesis immediately when he hexed, right? He was just trying to be cute,
Maybe.
hex and blink, maybe? I don't know. He just got instant countered. Lil Nick. Gonna strike fear into the hearts of Shaggy. One more bash would do it, perhaps. Then he could ult.
That would not be enough, Cinderin.
You
Needs a
say
lot more
that, but
damage
he
than
would
that.
bash another time again, which you didn't account for.
Oh, I see. So if you bash twice in a row, then you're going to get the third, is what you're saying. Huh?
BKB TP.
He's going to pop his BKB TP away.
What do you think about Bulldoze as a skill?
I love status resist, so it's great.
Okay.
Is this where I'm supposed to ask you what you think of the skill?
No, I was just curious.
I think it's cool to be able to... I mean, it makes the hero fun. You go in and you don't really have any chance of dying.
How much
great.
do you think it should be nerfed if it was undispellable? I'm thinking...
Undispellable?
Right.
What is that? 70%? So probably like 35?
So half as good if it was undispellable.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I mean, Yule's is like the best counter, pretty much, I would say.
In a way, Omni Knight got the opposite treatment, right? His just became dispellable.
Omni Knight's
and
absolute trash.
disappeared.
Little Nick, oh, look at that status resist.
Yeah.
They got nothing on him. He's going to use his Nether Strike on Shaggy. He needs that bash. He's not going to get it. Instead, he's going to take the Impale, but now the rest of his team has come to play. Ryoya
Mistimed.
getting off the Meteor Hammer just to kill the Rubik. Now focusing on Zero, but will they take Jubei with them? Looks like they will.
They have full control of this map right now. Roche in 40 seconds, early spawn. So you'd imagine simply TOOBASED just want to keep controlling the top half of the map and look to farm that jungle area, get some good offensive vision out, get ready for Roche. And they're just going to keep ramping up with this Bloodlust on all their cores. I think the standout thing for me in this game from simply TOOBASED is their sentry coverage. I think they've done a really good job at making Jubei feel unimpactful. Even though he has done a lot for his team, he could have done so much more.
Gets the Impale up, but here comes Ollie. 3 shots the Ember. Shaggy is dead. 45 seconds. Does have buyback if they're going to try to continue and perhaps dive this, as Zero's going to take a Wraithfire Blast with the right clicks of Ryoya and the 20th pause of this series. My God, get your internet fixed for God's sake. All right? Terrible. Your internet sucks. Where do you live, for God's sake? Come on. Oh, they're probably using Comcast. That makes sense. Yeah, Comcast is terrible. That's true.
I think he did say, "Sorry, SA Internet XD, I can't move."
Okay.
At least he
It's
said XD.
Comcast in South America then.
He said XD.
Well, they're going to get the Underlord as expected. And Jubei, well, they don't want to focus him, it looks like. Lil Nick is in the vicinity. Ollie getting controlled from the sideline. Nether Strike is canceled. And that's going to break things up. But it's still a 2-for-1. It's 2 cores for 1 support.
Oh, Ollie,
Jubei's
okay.
getting everything. Ollie jumps in, has very little mana. He just dies. What?
What the fuck was that?
NA Dota.
That's
Woo!
wild, okay? That's a wild out of 10. That is actually wild out of 10.
That is, that means you need a shard. If you're going to do that, just get a shard.
He got baited by SA Internet. He thought Medusa wasn't going to move for 10 seconds. that was straight up crazy. I don't even think he got... Did he get mana burned? I don't know if he got mana burned even. He just used his mana on the stun and didn't have, I think. Or? Let's see. Oh, he does get mana burned, doesn't he? So there... Mana burn.
Stuns.
Mana burn's
There's
done.
the mana burn.
He didn't Soul Ring pre.
Easy kill.
No Soul Ring pre is his doom.
Yeah.
All right, I'll cut him a little bit of slack, right? Because, you might forget about how much mana you're actually going to lose from mana burn or not account for it, etc. So, I mean, fair enough. It looked absolutely crazy, but it was just only kind of crazy. All right?
Well, Fire Blast with the Ignite. They can see that it bounced to Dunhow on the other side here. It looks like the Meteor Hammer will be set up successfully, and the Serpent Wards will trap Dunhow. So 2 support kills right off the bat, as Wraith King has now respawned. And we'll
they
keep
see
him,
him.
but they find a Hex onto Underlord. They're just continuing to find picks left, right, and center. Nick has his ult available if he wants to use it. They're stun locking this Under. They don't even need Nether Strike. The right clicks from Ryoya are more than enough, and that even cost a buyback on to Dunhow.
OD does so much damage to Underlord. Like, you can just tell how this matchup is rough, right? Until he has BKB. He's not even buying BKB. I think if he keeps getting caught by stuns in this game, Ryoya is going to solo him in Shaman's Disables. Didn't even ulti there. And this will be a second Roche with the Bloodlust. Very, very quick. Underlord going to buy back. They are not in time for this there.
They are not.
Black and yellow are...
That is Aegis. That is Shard.
Black and yellow are off their A game
See if
today.
Wraith King takes it.
They're too
That's
late.
going to be for OD, it looks like for now. Hi, Shaggy. Yeah, he gets up. Nice stuns onto Little Nick. The Stone Gaze, though, but that just means that Simply TOOBASED will run away. Although, speaking of which, Ollie actually jumps in, deletes Rubik. That's a dieback now. Now focusing on Zero again, and they're holding Rises in place. This is just all falling apart for Black and Yellow. A nice Impale, but it's not going to matter. Sanity's Eclipse, and Rises swiftly running out of mana and will die for the 4th time this game with the charge coming through on Jubei as well. I'm not sure if they have vision on top of that. There's the Sentry. They do see him.
Oh.
There's another Sentry. Oh, that's theirs. He's fine. We'll see if there's
he's
dust.
still charged.
No, he doesn't have dust. He is charged.
He's in react.
It'll connect, but they
Detect.
don't have vision. No. I thought he might have dust, but...
Maybe the base police should change their funding a little bit and put more into early detection rather than punishment.
Yeah, possibly. 13K net worth lead for Simply TOOBASED, as they are on the doorstep of forcing Black and Yellow to move to Division 2. That's also called relegating. Forcing them, maybe not the best wording. Relegating them to Division 2.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I don't know. After
That'd be a good voice line.
I mean, after game 1, I have to say I lost a bit of faith in Black and Yellow, but I didn't think they would be this outclassed again. I thought they were going to, get it a little bit more together. They're just getting outplayed, and this last pick, Underlord, has not had the effect they hoped. I'll tell you that much for certain. But it's also just Simply TOOBASED are taking initiative today. They're hungry. They're playing fast. They're making successful moves. Ryoya has been dominant in both games in the mid lane. Yeah, just a lot of things coming together for them today, and that might be their saving grace in upper division for Season 2. So very, very good news for them to hit their stride right now. I mean, obviously, they would have liked to play this way since day 1, I'm sure, but if you had to choose, this would probably be the second best time to come online, apart from, day 2, so you could still get first place. But it feels nice to just barely survive because you really got your act together, rather than placing, 3rd instead of 4th because you started playing better, if you catch my drift.
Sure, I'm sure you have a lot of experience with that as well.
Okay, Shannon. Here comes the charge.
We're going to have the instant Hex onto Zero, charge to follow with another strike still available, but the Shackle is going to keep him in his place. Meanwhile, Ryoya's in a lot of trouble. That's the Aegis, and he is completely surrounded with still Stone Gaze yet to be cast. But look at this stun lock onto the Ember Spirit. High Shaggy has to remnant away, but there's a Sanity's Eclipse to delete yet another hero in this game. Ryoya, untouchable right now. Wraith Fire Blast on Arises, as now he is the one that is surrounded and brought down swiftly. Double kill for 2 respective members of Simply TOOBASED, and it looks like this is going to be GG. Black and Yellow relegated to Division 2, and Simply TOOBASED probably stay in Division 1.